Dallas Cowboys open up their season on Sunday night, hosting the New York Giants at the Cowboy Stadium, which I think is now AT&T Stadium now. And he'll have the call coming up on Sunday night on Compass Media Networks. You can hear it here on ESPN Alamogordo. Cowboys legend Danny White joins us. Danny, how you doing today, man?
I'm good. How you doing?
Not too bad. Glad to have you with us. And heading into a new season with the Cowboys, always. What's kind of interesting, I feel like the Cowboys have been kind of under the radar in the preseason. The national attention really hasn't been focused on them too much. Is that kind of the consensus from what you've seen, or is it the same kind of attention that's usually around the Cowboys?
Well, I think that's probably a trend that's been going on for years and years now. It's been so long since the Cowboys have had any success in the playoffs that and the NFL and all the other teams in the league, have done a great job of marketing themselves and building their own fan base. I think things have definitely leveled off a little bit in terms of the attention that's directed at any particular team. The Cowboys have always been kind of at the forefront of that. But, the bottom line is what you do on the field, and that's the way it should be. And the Cowboys just simply have not been as productive as they have in the past. So, yeah, they've been a little bit ignored, I guess you could say, compared to other years. But if what I'm seeing is continues, if they can stay healthy, which was a big problem last year, I think that'll change, and they're still the most valuable sports franchise in the country and number 2 in the world. So yeah. I don't think Jerry Jones really cares too much.
No, I don't think he does. Well, I think the biggest thing, it's been kind of a drama-free offseason with the exception of, the discussion around, Bill Callahan coming in as the offensive coordinator and, who is calling plays. There really hasn't been anything newsworthy, I guess I would say. They've just kind of been going about their business. What is the feeling around what's going to happen with Bill Callahan and his role on the team? Is he the play caller, or how's that changed going into the season from last year?
He's definitely the play caller, and it's pretty obvious when you watch him play. The commitment to the running game is there. Of course, in the preseason, it's always there. But yeah, Tony Romo got married. He's having his second child now, and there's about 80% of the drama right there. Is where's Romo this week, and who's he dating now, and So things have calmed down in his life, and there's about 108 million reasons why. And so Tony's a little bit out of the spotlight, and that's a good thing for him. I've said all along, and up until he got married, finally, the best thing for Tony Romo would be to get married, settle down, and spend more time at home and less time out on the golf tours and in Rio de Janeiro or wherever he goes to the party, and that's happened, and Tony has grown up a lot and matured a lot, and it's a great thing for the Cowboys. And but Bill Callahan is a very integral part of that whole system, and they were 31st in the league in rushing the football last year. So yeah, that's got to improve. There's no question about it. It's the number one focus, and in the preseason, that's exactly what they've done. They've run more and more on first down, more in the red zone, more on the goal line, and I think that's a reflection of having an offensive line coach like Bill Callahan calling the play.
Well, speaking of the running game, DeMarco Murray obviously is going to be the feature back, but now Felix Jones is gone. Is it Lance Dunbar? Is it Philip Tanner? Who do you expect to kind of fill that second role? Because Murray has been shown to maybe not have the durability that the Cowboys would like. Who's kind of that second rusher for them this season?
They've got 3 guys that all have looked good in the preseason, and I really think it'll be Philip Tanner as the first backup. You've really got kind of 3 backups that can all run the ball. Dunbar looked good, and Joseph Randall looked good. All 3 of them are probably harder runners than DeMarco Murray. DeMarco Murray's a little bit of a slasher, a lot like Tony Dorsett was. He doesn't punish you when you tackle him like those other 3 guys do, like an Adrian Peterson does. He avoids contact a little bit more than the other 3, but he's got just great skills and great vision at finding seams and hitting the weaknesses. And so, DeMarco Murray, I think his health will be a key. but they've got three other guys there that are chomping at the bit to just run over some people.
I've read a lot of people that have thought Dez Bryant maybe could have an MVP-type season this year. What have you seen from him in the preseason, in training camp? I mean, can he have that type of year this year for the Cowboys?
I 100% agree with that. Dez Bryant, and I've spent some time with Dez and gotten to know him pretty well, and the guy is just a quality kid. I mean, he wants to do whatever he has to do to be the greatest receiver in the league, and I think this year could be his breakout year. I think he'll be the focus of all the receivers in the league, and the preseason. If he comes anywhere close to what he's done in the preseason, he'll catch five passes in one game. Only plays a quarter. That's 20 passes in a game. I mean, he's just put up incredible numbers. And he's a hard worker. He's strong as an ox. He's just got it all. And what I like about him is the fact that he's grown up a lot in the last 2 years. He knows the system. I've seen him 3 or 4 times this preseason adjust to blitzes and to coverages when things weren't exactly what they had predicted. And Tony Romo being exactly on the same page with him. And that's the mark of a great combination. And a receiver's got a chance now to put up some unbelievable numbers when he's got a quarterback that trusts him. And that's not been the case with Dez in the past. But I think Tony's gaining trust in him and got that now, and he's going to be his go-to guy so that when Tony gets in trouble, he's going to throw it to Dez. No matter how many guys he's got on him, he's going to throw it to him and know that Dez will protect him. And he'll at least knock the ball down, not let it get intercepted. And Dez has become that kind of a guy, and that's kind of the last level you have to go through to be a quality receiver, in the NFL.
Seems like for the defense this year, the biggest thing for them is getting all the guys they had last year back. As many injuries they had on defense, like Sean Lee, and you can go on and on in that list. Seems like the defense, if guys can stay healthy, Cowboys defense should be pretty solid this season.
I think Sean Lee is going to be to the league what Dez Bryant is on offense. I just the guys just have bad luck with injuries. And this is a guy that, if he's not playing, he's injured. Because he lives to track down the football and hit the guy carrying it. And he's just a quality guy again, hard worker, plays every play, 100%, one of those kind of guys, and smart. He's just got it all. But last year, right in the middle of that line, they just got decimated between Lee and Carter and all those guys that were injured that play in the middle of that defense. Their safeties were torn up. The only guys that weren't, DeMarcus Ware was hurt. He was about 50%. And the only guys that weren't hurt were their cornerbacks. Everybody, and when you get hit with injuries right in one area of your team, it can really have a negative effect, and it did. And if you look at their numbers, the last 3 games, they went from giving up 24 points a game to 28 or 29, and that's a big jump. And you just can't win in the NFL if you're going to be giving up that many points. So that's going to be the biggest area of improvement from the end of the season last year is going to be their defense. And going to the 4-3, I think is going to help a lot. You're going to see some more pressure on the quarterback, and at least what we've seen in the preseason is they are loving that new defense. So I expect great things from their defense.
Yeah, Monty Kiffin coming in as a defensive coordinator, and seeing Leon Lett down there on the staff has got to be a pretty cool thing as well for Cowboys fans too. Talking with Danny White, game is this Sunday night, Cowboys and the New York Giants at the newly renamed AT&T Stadium there in the Dallas area. Let's go to the game on Sunday night. The Giants, they've lost a fair amount in the offseason. Of course, they're still going to be a very solid football team, and it seems like whenever these two get together, wherever they're playing, whether it's in New York or in Dallas, it's usually a heck of a ball game. What do you think the big keys are for the Cowboys to get the win on their opening game on Sunday night?
Well, it's Tom Coughlin. That team will always be one of the top teams in the league as long as Tom Coughlin is coaching them. They're very disciplined, very few penalties, very few turnovers. They were right at the top of the league, and they were plus 14 in turnover ratio, where the Cowboys were minus 13. That's a 17 turnover differential. That's more than one a game, or 27. I'm sorry, that's almost 2 a game. And so that's what you're facing. You're facing a team that's not going to beat themselves. And so the Cowboys have got to match that level of discipline by not beating themselves. So the Giants aren't gonna just blow you out of the water with their running up and down the field on you and their great pass rush or any of that. They're just going to be steady. They're going to be consistent, and they're not going to beat themselves. And that's the Tom Coughlin influence.
Well, get out of here on this. Cowboys, do you feel like that they are a legitimate Super Bowl contender this year? Or are they maybe not quite there? You need to see 1 or 2 more things from them. Where do you feel like they're at going into the season?
They've had some injury problems on the defensive line. They signed 4 more guys this week. I mean, it's incredible that they didn't do much during free agency, mainly because they didn't have the money to do it. But now all of a sudden they're picking up players that are getting cut, mainly because they're minimum salary players, but they're guys that they think can help them in the defensive line with the pass rush, and so that's the one concern I have. Other than that, if they can get Spencer back healthy and so some of their guys that are hurt right now, that on paper they're as talented as any team in the league. And so now the chemistry has to kick in. I think they're doing better there. They just have to stay healthy, and I think they'll be right there at the end. I really do think that they'll be contending for the division championship and even the conference championship if they stay healthy.
All right, Danny, we really appreciate your time today. Have fun on Sunday night, Cowboys and Giants at AT&T Stadium. Really appreciate your time today.
You bet. You're welcome.